you?
We're good.
Yay.
We're good. I'm Jana with Pearl Together, and this is my co-host Jill from Illinois. And this is James, and this is part 2 of the Clog vlog. So if you haven't seen the introduction to the Clog vlog or part 1, go back, rewatch.
It's definitely worth it.
Well, then you'll have to understand why I'm going to hold James in comparison to my yarn. You'll need to have context.
I thought just the giant ball of yarn was going to do it, but the fact that you have your popcorn bowl as a yarn bowl, that's pretty awesome. Holy cow.
I know. Look
that
at
thing
how
is still huge.
there.
He is not sure about that.
No, he's not.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, no, thank you. Okay. Right. So yeah, if you don't understand that, you need to go back and watch.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, that is like the biggest ball of yarn I've ever seen.
Oh, he's a little upset now.
Except I did see the world's largest ball of twine.
Really?
Yes, it's somewhere in the middle of either like Kansas or Nebraska. We saw it
on Kansas, yeah.
On one of our field trips. It has a different
okay, wait. On one of our field trips?
Vacations, family vacations.
Oh, I'm a teacher, so it's all a field trip.
Well, I'm probably the reason I said field trip was because you know how on a field trip, sometimes some kids want to be there and some kids don't. Our oldest was probably 15 at the time. And I thought it was the greatest thing ever, stopping to see the world's largest ball of twine, like driving out of your way to see it. And a 15-year-old boy just doesn't feel the same way.
Maybe not so much.
Especially when it smells. Because it's huge. It's not, it's like under a portico because it's too large for a place. And
so it's been wet.
Yes.
And dry and wet and dry.
Yes. It does. It has a teeny bit of an odor. But you can actually, when the little store is open, you can go and buy some twine and then you can tie your twine on and you can add to the world's largest ball.
Really?
Yes. We have this great family picture of 3 of us going, and then my oldest, who is really
he's like
not into it, like, the way teenagers get sometimes in the back. It's hysterical. One of my favorite things.
I'm going to Google that. And put a link in the video description about where is the world's biggest, ball of.
Yeah.
But I can imagine like back in the day, it was, jute.
It's a great bit. It's a ball of jute.
Yeah. So I'm sure it smells like rotten jute.
Oh, it does not smell great. No. So I'm sure your yarn doesn't smell.
No.
So it's not exactly the same.
No,
like nothing like exactly. It, but okay.
So how is it going with your clogs?
They're more comfortable than knitting with jute.
That would be rough. That'd be harsh.
On your feet.
Yeah.
And then it might smell. Wool doesn't smell.
Yeah, we established that last week. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at you.
Look.
That's so pretty.
There it is. That is
nice.
That is clog number 1. And I will tell you that you see the way the base looks with all your slip stitches and such.
Yeah.
When I was a new clog knitter, that's how I could tell I was getting better because I'd have like several in a row and then maybe one was up here and the rest were like that.
Right.
It took me a little bit to get all of the stitches where they needed to be, even though I ended up in the right place.
Now, are you knitting it in the round or are you knitting it flat?
I'm knitting it in the round.
Okay. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on which needle I'm using. The instructions tell you to join it. The pattern tells you to join it in the round because then you do the cuff in the round. But I've knitted it flat lots and lots of times just because, and then I sew it up at the end before I felt it. But I've done that lots of times just depending on the size I'm knitting and the length of cable I have.
Well, that never, ever, ever dawned on me because I'm such a rule follower. Like but truly, because when you're talking about your join, like that's it,
Oh, it gets wonky, but it's all right. People shouldn't worry about it.
Huh. I never thought about that.
Yeah. It's okay.
I
So
forgot what a joy they are to knit. They are so much fun to knit.
they are, and they go fast, and you're much further along, but I've had a very busy week. But this took me so far, this part, about 25 minutes.
It's really intuitive.
I don't know what is going on there. This yarn, because it's a bulky single ply, sometimes you'll have a thick and thin spot, and that's just like a thicker spot right there. And there's a shadow because it's a slubby bit. Doesn't matter. It's all going to fell down in the end. It does not matter.
It looks like a frog.
I know.
When you do that, it looks like a Kermit, puppet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then my soles are out of this other stuff I showed last week, and this has been frog before, but I do have manageable sizes of that. I have like 4 or 5 more of these, so I have plenty.
It looks good together. I like the colors together.
I wasn't sure. I mean, it's just using what you have. And so I'm all about that. I do love to buy yarn, don't get me wrong. And on my desk here, I have some new Plymouth Galway that I could have used, which I really love. Could have used that. I know it's beautiful, and I might, but then again, I might use it for something else, like the sweater it was intended for, if I ever get there one day. But this is okay because I'm upcycling something that was frogged. And then, I'm using it up, and it's fine. It's slippers. And then
it looks good. It really looks good together. I like it a lot.
I wasn't sure, but then my daughter, who's the needle felter. Okay. So like, she needle felts things. Maybe she'll, after it's felted, she might needle felt something, flowery on there for me.
Nice.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how all that works out. So it'll be good. Or like I said, maybe I'll do the Mario mushroom. I have the theme song in my head. So
it's a good, quick, because you're knitting it on such big needles, it comes together quickly, and you feel accomplished.
Yeah. If I like really sit down and have a good movie, I can knit a pair in a weekend.
You absolutely can.
Oh yeah. And then you'll stay up to you're like, oh, I'm almost done.
Yes. And you just keep going and going. Oh, I just want to get to this part. Yeah.
So speaking of almost finishing things, I have several things here that are, like smaller projects that are like almost done. And I'm like, well, do I work on this for a little while? And then I work on this for a while, and then nothing ever actually gets done because I just nickel and dime it each one.
But then at the end, you'll have like a whole bunch of finishes in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I showed you this.
Oh my gosh, that's looking good. Look how far along you are.
Yeah, and then I'm going to do my contrasting toe, and then I'm going to do an afterthought heel. A true afterthought heel.
Fun.
So, because I know sometimes people will say, all right, well, I want X number of inches for the top. And then they're like, well, or they'll knit it from the bottom up, and they already know how long it is and where the heel goes, and they'll mark it. But that's not an afterthought, is it? That's a forethought.
No.
Okay, so I was watching a podcast. Now I can't remember where I heard this. Anyway, there's this woman somewhere. It's irrelevant. The point's the same. She knits a lot of tubes, like just a tube sock, heel, toe up, toe down, a cuff down, either way. And she just keeps them in her drawer. And she has black yarn that goes with like everything, right? Or like you with the gray, goes with everything.
Yeah.
So, and then when somebody needs a quick gift, she's like, oh, and she'll put the heel in wherever on the tube is necessary for the recipient at the time.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Here's a little tidbit for you, since we're talking about this. Did you know how everyone is proportionate to themselves?
Yes.
Okay. The distance from the heel of your hand, right here.
Okay.
Do you have shoes on?
No.
Okay, good. You can check it. The distance from right here to your longest finger is the same as the distance from the longest toe to the beginning of your heel.
Really?
Really? Try it.
Like, I can't use that hand. Look at that finger.
What?
It doesn't. That's my hand. I'm thinking somewhere along. Well, I had a 5th grade basketball accident once, and my dad taped my fingers together. I'm thinking maybe it was broken or something.
Yeah, clearly.
That's the way my fingers go. Okay.
Okay,
Anyhow, I'd
maybe
show
you
you, but then it'd be offensive. So I'm not like flipping you off. I'm flipping like your neighbor off
so
because
maybe
the finger goes like that. So if you're like, hey, it's like,
so
hey,
maybe you
you, not
can
you.
use your right hand then. Okay. So
Yes.
okay, I don't know if I can do this. Here's this, right?
Yes.
Okay, my longest toe to the heel of my hand is where my heel starts.
Oh, I thought you meant the back of your heel. I'm like,
No, look.
see, you do yoga. You can do that. I'd fall out of my chair or hurt myself. It's like a knitting yoga move.
Namaste. You just never
Uh-huh.
know what's going to happen when we get together.
Well, what I can imagine right now is there are a lot of people in their kitchens or living rooms, like trying to finagle and measuring that.
If
They
you're
are.
over 50 and you can do that and show it on video, I'll kudos. I haven't done yoga in a long time. I'm just bendy, I guess.
I never was. I couldn't touch my toes.
I don't know if I can either, but that's all right. Oh, guess what else? Okay, back to other things.
Oh, oh my
This
God.
is just one of those other things where I'm like almost done with, but not. Okay, but here's my
That
problem. So this is for viewers, this is the Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague. So you knit this big long tube, and then the other part decreases down, then you turn it inside itself, and you have a double,
yeah, and since you're
double
doing
thickness hat.
fade, it can be like different colors.
So
Oh
you
my
turn it
God.
inside itself like that, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm obviously not going to have enough to finish with this color sequence. So I'm going to have to punt and figure something else out at the end, which might be okay. It'll probably be the part that's tucked up inside, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But this has been fun too. And this is this is leftovers. They were like 3 to 5 gram tidbits that I've just tied together, leftover from Advent kit 2 years ago. Well, it wasn't new then. It was an Advent kit from 2019 that I opened in 2020 with Amba on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knitted that throw for my daughter. Remember the
Yes.
Radvent throw? And so these were the leftovers, and I just tied them together in order, and they're little tidbits. And what's cool about this hat is since you're going to turn it inside itself, like you're never going to see all my little ends. Like, who cares?
Not at all.
So I just, square knot. I just tied them together.
Nice.
But I really want to finish it too, even though
I love it.
I just have so many little things like this.
I thought I was done with these, and I actually posted a picture on Instagram
I saw that.
of the Kitchener. And you say, Jill, if you were Kitchenering, why does it look like you're still knitting?
Because you're still knitting. Because there was a frog involved.
There was probably my most dramatic one yet, because I was completely done, had entirely cast off, tried on one of the socks. Oh, they fit great. I'm so excited. It was wonderful. I tried on the other sock and I went, oh, that's really tight. That's really tight. And I took it off and I went, well, that sock looks a little small. You know how I knit DK socks all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You used those numbers, didn't you?
For the foot.
Okay, so you just need to add some more rows.
Yes. So
you just frogged the toe part.
I cut it, frogged the toe, knit it once, realized it wasn't in pattern. I didn't do a good enough job replicating that, finding the place in the yarn that had the pattern. So then I ripped it out again. But it's almost done.
You're almost there.
I am so close. So
it
close.
happens. It happens. Do you want to know what I messed up this week? This is apparently the mess up section of our blog, Clog vlog. Okay, so I'm working on my sweater. Wait, I have like a pile of whips here. So we're working on my After the Rain sweater.
Oh, which I love so much.
And I'm on Sleeve Island. Hooray. Okay, on Sleeve Island. But I realized that when I did the ribbing on the bottom, I didn't do it in the smaller size needle. So it's not going to gather in very well. You know what I mean? It might be kind of just like stretched out looking. So I'm going to put it on, but I think I'm going to take out it's like 6 rows, but they're big rounds. So, but I think I'm going to go ahead and have a do-over with that because I'm not happy with it. And we like knitting. It's okay. And I want to be happy with it. So, because I don't want it to be flared out looking at the bottom, you know?
Well, it's the same thing like my toe.
I just messed up and didn't. Yeah, I just
but
didn't change to the smaller size needles like the pattern says. I wasn't paying attention and it just kept going.
it's nice to be able to talk about the mess ups. Well, because I think people have this unrealistic expectation that once they have arrived in their knitting, that you don't do stuff like that anymore.
Arrived.
You know what I mean? Well, okay. As a beginner knitter, when I would watch podcasts, I would just think that people didn't do stuff like that anymore.
Oh, you mean if you have a YouTube channel, you don't make mistakes? That's not true.
or that your mistakes were really complicated, not just, hey,
not just stupid stuff.
You're not knitting with DK yarn today.
Or, hey, you didn't change the size when you were supposed to. Because I was, watching a Netflix, not paying attention. I'm like, oh, the ribbing, yay. And I carried on.
Yep.
But, we're all just humans that mess up, clearly.
We like to knit.
We do. We like to knit. And I'm excited about this because I'm going to knit until I thought about making shorties, but then I'm like, that's not really an afterthought heel now, is it? So because I love this yarn so much, I'm just going to knit till I have 50 grams left. Maybe I'll give myself a little grace period and say 55 grams left. And then, then I'll do the contrast with the heel and and then I'll put in the afterthought heel in the proper place. So what I'm going to try to do until between now and when I see you again is obviously finish the top of the foot on this one. And if I have another appropriate size needle in the big drawer, then I might start on number 2. We'll see.
Because our next video, we will be talking about the cuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really super simple. All we do is you knit your purl side out. Is it 5 or 6 rows? And then you turn it over and we'll get to that. But yeah, it doesn't take very long at all. So I might go ahead and start number 2. But it's August. It's not like I'm going to need them next week necessarily.
Oh, I love that the videos take you through step by step. So that's the next.
So we'll
part.
post the link to the top of the foot one down below the video description so you can watch the tutorial video and knit with us.
Yes. Clog vlog.
Somehow I don't think there's going to be an appreciable difference in size.
No.
Okay. I mean, I just wonder how many clog foots I could make from that.
A copious amount. A slog of clogs for the vlog.
That's true. It's always good to see you.
Yes, you too. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting. See you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.